I'll show you a world of fear. A world without movie and anime reviews. A world without the Black Critic Guy.
The Black Critic Guy here to kick off the summer movie season with my review of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So The Amazing Spider-Man 2 obviously continues the story of Peter Parker, who has now become Spider-Man, and is basically following him as he tries to juggle the life of a normal college kid, although you never really see him go to college one time in the film, and also juggle the responsibilities of being Spider-Man. And he has to face new threats like this man named Electro. He meets an old friend, Harry, and he also meets this Russian baddie who will later become the Rhino. And that's basically what the whole movie's about. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty excited to see The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I mean, the trailers made it look like it was gonna be a non-stop thrill ride. I couldn't wait. Because I'm not gonna lie, as much as I did like the first Amazing Spider-Man, I was a bit disappointed at the lack of action scenes in the movie, but I thought they were going to rectify that here in the sequel. And what do I think about the sequel? I really enjoyed The Amazing Spider-Man 2. In fact, I enjoyed it just as much as I enjoyed The Amazing Spider-Man. What do I mean by that statement? I'll get to that soon. So what did I like about The Amazing Spider-Man 2? Well, the best thing in my opinion about this movie is that they handled every emotional aspect to a T. To Peter Parker juggling between being Spider-Man and having a regular life and just the stress and exhaustion of being Spider-Man, to his relationship with various people throughout the entire movie, with Gwen Stacy, with Harry Osborn, with his Aunt May. Everything was handled very well, and I really felt the strain and the stress that Peter was going through and the emotional turmoil that he was dealing with. The characters, for the most part, are all still very interesting, and some of them do get really good developments, especially Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy, Aunt May, and Harry Osborn. I really loved how they handled Peter Parker in this film, as I mentioned before. And as for Spider-Man, he was on freaking point. Everything from the way that he talked to the villains to the mannerisms is exactly how Spider-Man acts. They got it down perfectly. The opening scene alone speaks for itself. The way that he was talking to those Russian guys that were stealing stuff from Oscorp, perfectly done. He'll just be toying with them, making snarky remarks. It was beautiful, guys. It was beautiful. And as I briefly mentioned earlier, the relationships in this movie were very well executed. The relationship with Peter Parker and Gwen, I still felt a strong chemistry. They bonded very well. Every scene that they were in, spending time together, I really loved. You can really tell that these two characters cared about each other. The relationship between Peter and Harry, I actually felt like they were genuine friends. Although they only really shared 2 scenes with each other, one as friends and another one where he's asking him to do something for him. I would have loved more Peter-Harry times. That would have been really cool, you know? Have them catch up a little bit more. One scene was just not enough. And finally, we got the relationship between Peter and Aunt May. It was solid as a rock. And I was very happy that they added this dynamic into the film. I mean, we get a real insight at the struggle that Aunt May is going through after losing Uncle Ben, who was kind of like her support, the person that she relied on, and now she no longer has him, and she has to not only take care of herself, the house, but also take care of somebody who just graduated from high school and is about to make that step into college. She is going through a lot. And Sally Field, you still got it, man. Like, seriously, there's a scene where she is just opening up to Peter, and Sally Field's performance left me speechless. It was really good. She is still an amazing actress. And since we're talking about Aunt May's performance, let's talk about the acting. I thought it was solid across the board. Every actor and actress in this film did a really good job at portraying their character. From Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker and Spider-Man, he did a really good job at conveying both the emotional scenes and doing all the comedic scenes. He really embodied the persona of both Spider-Man and Peter Parker to a T. And he is without a doubt the best portrayal of Peter Parker and Spider-Man I've ever seen put on a screen. Sorry, Tobey Maguire. your time is done. Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy, just like Andrew Garfield, she embodies the character of Gwen Stacy. She's charming, she's really likable, and I just love the back and forth between her and Peter. It is hilarious and cute. Dane DeHaan as Harry Osborn, he did a really good job as well, making him come off as a very confident yet fierce man who's willing to do whatever it takes to get what he needs. And the last standout performance is Jamie Foxx as Electro. My God, is this guy intimidating and fierce. That electric power, man, it looks so cool. He is just visual eye candy. He looks marvelous. And I wish I saw this in 3D because those electric powers and the way that he moves in this film would have looked amazing in 3D. The visuals in this film look astoundingly good, especially on Electro. My God, this power is just visually stimulating. It looks so freaking cool. Every fight scene with Electro and whenever Electro would move in the film looked fantastic, guys. Fantastic. And the fight scenes, whenever they did happen, were all executed very well, especially the final fight at the end. That was just perfect. And speaking of the end, the last 20 minutes in this movie were perfect. Just perfect. With its exhilarating action scenes and emotional climax, and just the way that it ended was just perfect. And it left me speechless. And it was just so good, guys. I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but those final 20 minutes were probably the most memorable scene I've seen all year, and it was handled excellently. But as much as I really enjoyed this film, I did have a couple of problems with it. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this review, I said that I really enjoyed The Amazing Spider-Man 2 as much as I really enjoyed The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, why did I make that statement? Because The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is almost identical, and I mean identical to the first movie. Almost identical. Sure, they did add a few small touches here and there, but at its core, it's almost the same movie. From how it starts to how it ends, it's very similar, and that bothered me. Another big problem that I have with this film was actually Electro. Yes, he looks freaking amazing. Visually, he's a very interesting villain, and he is very menacing in his portrayal. But as a character, there's nothing really interesting about him. He comes off as very dull and uninteresting. I mean, besides the way that Electro looks and moves, I couldn't tell you much about the character because there wasn't much given to us about the character. He was really underdeveloped. Not only that, but I really didn't buy his motive in becoming a villain, and I thought that the send-off that they gave him, although really epic, was kind of unfair and unjust to that character. He didn't deserve to go out that way. And the last problem that I had with this film, similar to The Amazing Spider-Man, I felt that there wasn't a real good balance between the drama and the action. I felt the drama really overpowered the action once again in the film. Now, I'm not saying that the drama was bad or that it took away from the film. On the contrary, it's done very well, but I felt a huge lack of any thrilling and intense action moments. For every one good action scene, there are like 4 to 5 better drama scenes, and I felt like there was a big imbalance between the two. I mean, come on, this is a Spider-Man movie. This is a superhero movie. You gotta have a good balance between drama and action. In the entire movie, there's about maybe 4 to 5 action scenes tops, all of which were like 6 to 7 minutes long, which is pretty damn short considering the movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long. You could have put more action in the movie. Overall, besides the few problems that I have with this film, I still think that The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a great film. It handled all the emotional aspects very well. The characters are well developed. The relationships are done very well. I really like the score actually. The action scenes, when they were on the screen, were exhilarating to watch. And the final 20 minutes, guys, that made the movie for me. Those 20 minutes. And because of all those put together, I'm gonna give The Amazing Spider-Man 2 a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I truly think that it is one hell of a film and a great way to kick off the summer movie season. But anyway, what did you guys think about this film? Did you really like it? Or did you find it boring and dull and you really didn't care? And let me know, what is your favorite fight scene in any Spider-Man medium? That could be from the comics, the TV shows, the Sam Raimi trilogy, or the reboot. Comment below and let me know. Also, check out my latest video on We Live Film. It's actually a love 'em or hate 'em video on Spider-Man 3. It's pretty interesting. Go check that out. A link will be at the end of this video. And also, I have an anime review coming your way this Tuesday, so get excited for that. But until then, guys, hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Welcome to the Black Critic Guy. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. And I'm Tony Walton II, the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.